Here is something you can screenshot if you want, in case you're having a conversation with someone and they tell you it's not true that white characters, whether it be from history or whether it be from mythology, whether it be simply from pop culture, are being swapped. Not happening. If they deny that, here is a little screenshot. Please feel free to take the screenshot right now. But then again, I'm not even sure if this is, are we still in the denial stage, or have we finally reached the stage when instead of telling you it's not happening, they tell you now, yes, it is happening, and it's a good thing, here is why. I wonder if we have already reached, I mean, look at this. What a clown world. What a clown world. And I remember, honestly, once again, to bring back the nostalgic past, I do remember that in the 80s, whenever, if you showed me a young Sicilian boy, and I think that this is applicable, please let me know. I don't care, wherever you're from. If you're white, black, red, green, yellow, whatever you are, blue, whatever you're from, let me know if that's the same. But I do remember in the 90s when I was watching, like, it didn't really matter what I was watching. If I was watching He-Man, blonde guy with whatever, I would be like, that's literally me. Then I would watch Blade, who's a black guy. I would say, man, that's me. I'm him, because I'm the good guy. I'm going to go take out the vampires. And then I would watch something else. It really didn't matter. I feel that this obsession with representation is taking away the ability of children to utilize one of the most beautiful aspects of childhood, which is imagination. And instead, it's creating a weird adult-shaped world whereby unless someone looks identical to you, that's not me. I don't like that. I'm Goku, we used to say. But apparently you can't be Ariel if she has red hair and you don't. And talking about that, did you notice the systematic removal of red hair from all video games? It's almost as bad as the removal of blondes. Did you see like the remake of Diablo 2 where they like the girl was blonde and they removed it? Now every redhead and every blonde head has been removed systematically. It is systematic. I don't even care. That one is still in the denial stage, by the way. But it's a thing. I played Voltron and I'm a robot. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So that's the reality of what we are seeing, unfortunately, and I think it's awful. But let's continue to the next one. That's another one, all right? So do we agree or disagree, guys? W or L? The post says, to the white people apologizing for the past, speak for yourself. I myself did nothing to apologize for. I think you already know what my position is on this. I think absolutely. I don't think any ethnicity, to be honest, has anything to apologize for when it comes to the people who are alive right now, because every person on the planet, regardless of which, it seems to be unfortunately a common denominator within the human race that we do awful shit. And I don't think anyone, the only difference, what I'm going to say now is going to piss off people, and they're going to clip it and they're going to call me all sorts of names, and I don't care. So I'm going to say it. African tribes that did awful things. They invaded, they conquered, they murdered, they enslaved. Same with Native Americans. Same with every kind of Asian that has ever Asianed. Same with Aboriginous people. It's the same. We've all done it. We've all done it. You know what the real difference is? Is that white people were more effective at it. That's really the only difference. Exception being the Mongols. The Mongols on par with us, I want to say. But in general, British Empire. So if you really want to look at the differences, like even when it comes to bad stuff, white people were better organized and more efficient at it. That's about it. But we've all done it. So I don't think, and besides, why would an English person have to apologize, even worse, an American, a white American have to apologize for something that, say, an English person did during the British Empire conquest in Hong Kong, say? I mean, the freaking Americans fought a war to secede and disconnect from the crown, so there is that. Also, why do we only focus on the negative things? Well, how about who ended slavery? I mean, that could be nice to review. I think if anything, if you really want to connect us to something, I'd be more than happy to be connected to that. And then another thing, what does a freaking guy from the rural suburbs of Holland have anything to apologize for something done by, I haven't got a clue at this point, a German belonging to the Austrian Painter Fun Club in the 1940s Germany? I mean, come on. A Sicilian man? I know that some people are like, yeah, but you're Italian, you're not actually white. Yeah, I don't care your definition of white. My definition of white is European. Native European. South, north, west, east. To me, it's all white. That's just me. I get it. Maybe your functional definition of white is different than mine. But then, according to your definition, I got nothing to apologize for even more. But it's just ridiculous. Why would someone, even if you do it with black people, why would someone from Nigeria have to apologize for what they did historically in Tanzania? It's the most ridiculous thing. And they only do it with white people. So it's, oh my gosh, it is so annoying. What? It's like, it just doesn't make sense. Let's talk about this guy. Like, we're showing clowns. The legend grows, says r/Illinois. The legend grows. Punch a Nazi. So for those who don't know, this is some kind of kid I believe he did it in school, but it's some kind of kid who punched, so actually physically assaulted another kid, because this other kid, I think, had some kind of sign that said something like pro-ICE. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's not like I looked into it that deeply. Also, because you don't need to look at it deeply in any way, shape, or form. This is not a legend. This is a violent kid who should have had legal repercussions. And if I was the father of the kid that got punched, I would have sued his entire family into oblivion. So, once again, it's the idea of he's a legend because, according to certain individuals, it is absolutely fine to punch those that we consider to be Nazis. Now, are they actually Nazis? That doesn't really matter, because all that matters is whether or not we call them Nazis. And the moment we do, then your punches are justified, which means violent enforcement of your rhetoric is justified. And I say it's not justified. So I'm not... This is not a legend. He's a clown, and a fat one at that. Next. Oh yeah, let's talk about something good instead. This is an American hero, my friends. This is an American hero. W in chat for I don't know his name. I wish people said his name. But W in chat for this American combat veteran. This man, by the way, is a great representation of two things: professionalism and heroic deployment. And the latter, for those who don't know, I think this guy, correct me if I'm wrong, this guy's Delta Force. He, I believe, was the pilot, the helicopter pilot, during the whole Maduro situation. Now, if you want, you can agree or disagree with the Maduro thing, and if you disagree and you think that was an abhorrent thing, I understand your point of view, but I would have you talk with the people of Venezuela at that point. Whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing is a discussion that I would like to have with someone from there. To me, it looks like a good thing, but I understand that it could set a precedent whereby we have a Delta Force, we can do whatever we want. That's not a good precedent, although it is descriptive of reality. America has the most powerful military in the world, so there is that. But then again, I understand the point of view if you're like, well, we don't like that, because, I mean, you can just go and kidnap it. I mean, the guy did say it, though. The guy did tell Trump, come and get me, coward, so he did say that. Does that count as an invitation? I don't know, whatever. I'm happy to debate. I'm not debating that now because I don't want to debate it without someone from Venezuela here. Because then I feel like we are talking about them, but we don't have someone who can actually give us a real lived experience of what it meant before and after. It kind of makes me feel a bit like people saying, oh, if I were gay, I would do this. I don't know that. I'm not gay. If I want to know what a gay person would do in any specific situation, you know what I would do? I would invite a gay person here and we could have a conversation. Likewise, if someone says, if I were Sicilian, I would do that. You're not Sicilian, you don't know that. So I'm never going to say, if I were black, I would do this. It's just, I don't know. It's speculation. It's pointless. It's a waste of time and cognitive energy at this point. Anyways, regardless of what you think about the operation proper, this guy obeyed orders, carried out a professional operation. He was hit by enemy fires, I believe, 4 times. They effed up his legs. In fact, he's using crutches. You can't really see it here. Effed up his leg. You can kind of see in his face that he's got the trauma of someone who actually experienced combat. But regardless of the fire that he took and wounds, he still managed to land the helicopter, do the extraction, bring everyone safe home. He's a hero. Now, this specific instance has to do with the situation that there was. I think you must have watched it when President Trump was addressing and he was saying, stand up if you think that America should care about American citizens before I guess he was saying illegal aliens and whatnot. And so, of course, no Democrat stood up. To be fair, I think it's terrible that they didn't stand up. But to be fair, maybe it's because they would never stand up to anything Trump said. So even if Trump said pizza is great, they wouldn't have stood up because Trump said it. Rather than necessarily, because now I've seen people on my side representing that as, oh, every Democrat doesn't believe that Americans should go first. I do think that the majority, that not many Democrats are very patriotic because they want to burn the freaking American flag. So I do believe that there is more patriotism in a good sense and sometimes in a bad sense, but there is more patriotism on the right wing of politics and in the center, in my opinion. But again, these are generic talks. Anyways, the guy stood up. And of course, people are calling him some kind of bigot, some kind of monster for doing that. And I want to say this, no, this guy's been professional because he's military. This guy is military. So he needs to stand up in that case. And I know for a fact this guy would have stood up even if it was Biden who made that statement. Not that he would. But even if Biden did, I think this guy would have stood up. Because he's a military man. He's a professional. The president is making a statement when it comes to being putting up American first. This guy did put American people first. And he suffered enemy fire for it. And I respect him because of that. And he's struggling to stand regardless of the crutches and the wounds. I think this guy is a true American hero. And I would like to say, for those who don't know, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm kind of repeating what someone else in the military said, but I don't know that because I'm not. I am former military, but in Italy I was Navy, but I don't know these things when it comes to America, so do correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to misinform, but I believe that every single one of these stripes that you see on his right sleeve represent combat deployment specifically, and if I'm not wrong, each line is 6 months. So if my calculation is correct, this guy has 5 years of combat deployment. Hero. Guy is a hero. And you know who doesn't think so? One of the stupidest MFOs that X has to offer. Not the stupidest, because that would be one of the Krasensteins, but one of. Let me see if I can find him, the clown. I don't even remember his name, and my brain deletes him. Let me see if he appears. I don't even know why I get, posts from him. I guess because I engage sometimes, and I call him a clown. Man, what's his name? He always does the worst. He has some of the worst takes on the internet, really, these days. With some of the most un-American takes that I've ever seen in my life. So this guy here, complete clown. And by the way, I say that not because he clearly hates Trump. I don't care. That's a political choice. But it's the stuff that he says is revolting. Let me see if I can find the one where he commented on the war veteran. Yeah, this guy. So according to him, she's more American than him. First clown take. Second take, someone calls him out and calls him retarded, absolutely right. And he says, sorry, I don't find committing war crimes to be particularly brave. Oh, wow. Stunning and brave take. Literally, guys, you know what this is? A keyboard warrior calling a real warrior not brave. And a war criminal. Cringe, absolute cringe. But trust me, that's not it. That's not just that stuff that this guy says is unbelievable. Everyone is a Nazi compared to him. We had a couple of interactions with the clown. Everyone is a Nazi, can't even pronounce it. Everyone is a fascist. He probably thinks I'm a fascist, even though my grandfather actually fought. My grandfather fought the fascists in Italy and was sent to the Dachau concentration camp together with Nazi soldiers. But I'm a fascist. He's not, though, because he's there with a keyboard.